Hi there everyone, this is Darren with SimNation. Just doing a quick recap video for SNCFL, which is our Draft Day Sports College Football 2026 FBS League here at SimNation. We do have an FCS League, which is known as GMCFL, and then we have a combined league of FCS and FBS that is GSNCFL, not confusing. So just want to talk about the playoffs and kind of talk through that and what it's going to look like because playoff time is here. In SNCFL, unlike GSNCFL, it is the top 16 teams make it. There is no automatic berth based on conference. If you remember, GSNCFL is the top 32 teams, and the top 22 of the conferences send their champion, and then there are 10 at large. In this case, you have to be in the top 16 to make the playoffs. So let's just dive right in and kind of talk about the playoffs real quick. The number one seed is Maryland. They will be taking on Coastal Carolina, who is the runner-up in the Sun Belt. Shark did a great job with Coastal Carolina. They're still reaping the benefit of his coaching. But this one isn't going to probably end very prettily for Coastal Carolina, mostly because these two don't match up well. Maryland should win this one by about 2 or 3 touchdowns. Same for the next game. You'll notice this trend in the first 4 games, by the way. UCLA is just going to utterly crush San Jose State. UCLA is led by Stuart, who's a very accomplished coach, and he has like 3 teams in the... I think he has 3 teams. We'll worry about that. Yeah, he does. So UCLA will just win this one pretty easily. And UCLA is his main team, by the way. They are kind of equal, if not slightly less than Maryland from a prestige perspective. Invisible Witness brings his Auburn Tigers into the playoffs as the 3 seed. They take on Florida International. Florida International, for a CPU team, has a really good passing attack. It's not going to matter. This one's probably going to be the ugliest of the playoff games. Invisible traditionally has these type of offenses number, and I expect them to win probably by at least 4 or 5 touchdowns. Georgia takes on TCU. This one's going to be a lot closer. Shark's a really good coach. Georgia's a really good team. But TCU has shown the ability throughout the season to slow really good teams down. I do expect Georgia to win by at least 2 touchdowns, but it's going to be a little bit closer than like some of the other games have been so far. The next one's an intriguing matchup between Georgia State and Louisiana Monroe. Georgia State is Stuart, Louisiana Monroe is Skelter. This one could go either way. If I had to pick an upset alert, this is probably it. I think Georgia State can beat Louisiana Monroe, but I think if Skelter does export, and he hasn't in a little bit, I think Louisiana Monroe wins this game. There's just a big talent differential between the two, and Georgia State's going to have to be able to stop Louisiana Monroe's rushing offense. But we'll see. Both of them are conference champions, Georgia State from the Sun Belt, Louisiana Monroe from the SEC. So we'll see how it all plays out. The next game, Ohio State versus Boisa State. These are 2 CPU teams taking on each other. Ohio State should win this by a touchdown or 2. I don't really care what the line says. Ohio State is definitely the better of the 2 teams. Again, formerly coached by Shark. Texas Tech should beat East Carolina. It's going to be a lot closer than probably a lot of these games, but I do like the Red Raiders winning this one. Now, it's not going to set them up with any level of comfort in the next round, but at least they get the first round. They get through the first round. Clemson versus Michigan. This is really the game for this round. This is Stuart at Michigan versus Matt at Clemson. Both are probably 2 of the best coaches in SNCFL, if not in the SimNation universe. So I do like this game. I do think Clemson's going to win it. No slight against Stuart, but I think Clemson has a slightly better chance based on the rushing attack and their ability to operate a little bit more balanced. Plus, Matt is kind of an underrated whiz when it comes to defense. It's going to be really close. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's actually going to be a touchdown differentiates the 2 or a field goal. And it really could go either way. If we look at the bracket real quick, you can see that neither of the winner of that game are going to be really happy about their next opponent, which is Maryland. In the SNCFL universe, Maryland is essentially Alabama at its prime. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, of the two teams, I think Clemson has a better ability to beat Maryland than Michigan does. But Michigan is coming really, really close to beating Maryland. And Stuart has beaten me in the playoffs with UCLA. The difference, though, the reason why I think Clemson is a better matchup is Matt has beaten me quite a few times in the playoffs. The next round of Georgia versus likely Louisiana Monroe. This will be a really good game. It really should have been the SEC title game. But Missouri messed up the whole side that Georgia was on by knocking off both Georgia and Kentucky and then sneaking into the title game, which Louisiana Monroe promptly shut the door on them and said no. So that should be a really good matchup to look to for the second round. UCLA, like I said, will beat San Jose State. They'll take on Texas Tech. This one's going to be pretty straightforward. There's a big talent differential between UCLA and Texas Tech that I don't think that I can overcome. And traditionally, Stuart has really, really done well against my second team. So I suspect that he will do that again and advance into the semis. Auburn versus Florida International. Auburn will advance. Ohio State versus Boise State. Ohio State should advance. It doesn't matter which team advances. Auburn's making it to the semifinals. Invisible has a really, really good team that, unless your name is Louisiana Monroe, Auburn hasn't even flinched, which will set up a semifinal, which is interesting, which will be a week one rematch between Auburn and UCLA. Auburn, of course, won that one. Stuart will be looking for revenge, and whoever wins it will go to the championship game. And then if all things work out the way I think it will, it'll likely be Clemson versus Louisiana Monroe, and they should proceed, or Clemson versus Georgia. I think that's just going to be a really good game. It's too close to call, but regardless, it'll either be Skelter, who's won a couple titles, Matt, who's won I think at least two, or Georgia, where Shark is still looking for his first title. And the same will hold true for Auburn and UCLA, who will both be looking for their first titles as well. So playoffs is going to get really, really interesting. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. See if there's any upset in the first round. I don't really think that there will be, but if there is going to be one, I'll keep an eye on Georgia State versus Louisiana Monroe. That's it for now. Hopefully you liked the video, and we'll talk to you soon.